Every year, scientists dig, they scan, they analyze, and every year, they find something that forces us to erase what we thought we knew. 2024 was different. This year, the discoveries didn't just add to history, they broke it. An ancient cave painting that pushed human creativity back 5,000 years. A lost city buried under a jungle for millennia. A branch of the Nile, now dry, that solved one of Egypt's greatest mysteries. These aren't legends. These are facts. Confirmed, peer-reviewed, earth-shattering facts. And today, we're counting down the 7 discoveries from 2024 that will change history textbooks forever. Stay until number 1. It changes everything we know about human origins. We start in Turkey, at a UNESCO World Heritage Site called Çatalhöyük, one of the earliest known human settlements on Earth. In March 2024, archaeologists made a discovery nobody expected. Buried near the ruins of a destroyed oven, a palm-sized, round, spongy residue. Around it, wheat, barley, and pea seeds. Scientists analyzed it. The results were stunning. This was bread. Uncooked, fermented bread, dating back to approximately 6,600 BCE, making it the oldest example of leavened bread ever found. But here's the part that gets you. In the center of the residue, a finger indentation. The fingerprint of an ancient baker. Someone who mixed the dough, pressed their finger into it, and then left it behind 8,600 years ago. Before Egypt. Before Babylon. Before writing. Someone was already baking bread. This discovery pushes back the origin of fermented baking by hundreds of years, forcing scientists to completely rethink the development of early human cuisine. What happens to a human brain after death? Normally, it disappears within weeks. Soft tissue almost never survives thousands of years. Almost never. In 2024, researchers published a landmark archive cataloging 4,400 ancient human brains that somehow survived. Dried out, frozen, or chemically preserved. One of the most extraordinary examples? A 1,000-year-old brain excavated from a Belgian churchyard, still soft, still wet, stained orange with iron oxides. How is this possible? Scientists now believe the brain's unique chemical makeup, particularly its high fat content and specific proteins, can trigger a natural preservation process under the right conditions. This archive is more than just a scientific curiosity. Each preserved brain is a time capsule, a window into the diseases, traumas, and lives of people who walked this earth thousands of years before us. And we're only beginning to read what they contain. Beneath the Baltic Sea, at a depth of more than 20 meters, something enormous had been hiding for thousands of years. In 2024, researchers scanning the seafloor with high-resolution hydroacoustic imaging detected an anomaly. A long, unnatural structure stretching across the seabed. They sent divers in. What they found left scientists speechless. A stone wall, nearly a kilometer long, made of approximately 1,400 small stones, connecting 300 massive boulders. This structure is now believed to be Europe's oldest known megastructure, possibly built over 10,000 years ago, when the Baltic Sea was still dry land. The people who built it weren't primitive cave dwellers. They were organized, coordinated, purposeful. The current theory? A massive hunting trap used to herd reindeer toward hunters waiting at the end. An ancient prehistoric machine hiding under the sea for 10 millennia, waiting to be found. Here is a question that has haunted archaeologists for centuries. How did ancient Egyptians move millions of stone blocks, some weighing 80 tons, across a vast, scorching desert to build the pyramids at Giza. In 2024, we finally have an answer. Researchers mapping the area around Giza detected the traces of a long-lost branch of the Nile River, now completely dried up, that once ran directly past the pyramid complex. This ancient waterway, which they named the Ahrimat Branch, was wide enough and deep enough to carry massive stone-laden barges right to the foot of the construction sites. Think about what this means. The pyramids weren't built through pure brute force across open desert. They were built using one of the most sophisticated logistics systems of the ancient world, a river highway, engineered and exploited by people who understood their environment completely. We didn't just find a dried-up river. We found the ancient Egyptians' greatest secret. Deep in the jungles of Guatemala, at an ancient Maya site called Xochquitam, a team of archaeologists opened a royal tomb. Inside, they found the remains of a Maya king. But it wasn't the bones that stopped them cold. It was the mask. Covering the king's face, an ornate jade mask made from interlocking pieces of jade, with seashell eyes and teeth. The craftsmanship was extraordinary. The detail, the precision, the symbolism, all pointing to a royal burial of the highest order. But the bigger revelation came from the inscriptions found nearby. This king had been completely unknown to historians. His tomb, his name, his dynasty, erased by time and jungle. Until now. This discovery adds an entirely new chapter to the history of Maya civilization. A ruler, a lineage, a story that had been waiting 1,000 years to be told. For centuries, explorers searched the Amazon for a lost city. They called it El Dorado. Most scientists called it a myth. In 2024, LiDAR technology, laser scanning from aircraft, revealed something that silenced the skeptics. Beneath the dense jungle canopy of the Amazon basin, researchers discovered over 6,000 interconnected earthen structures, platforms, plazas, roads, and causeways, the remains of a vast, ancient urban civilization that had been completely invisible from the surface. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend. We're not talking about a village. We're talking about a network of cities, home to potentially millions of people, that thrived for centuries before vanishing without a trace. The jungle swallowed them whole, and for 1,000 years they lay hidden, just a few hundred feet below the canopy that covered them, waiting for technology powerful enough to see through the leaves. El Dorado wasn't just a legend, it was a memory. And now, the discovery that changes everything. On the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, inside a cave that had been known to scientists for years, researchers made a measurement that shook the entire field of archaeology. The cave painting, depicting a wild boar and 3 human figures, was already considered ancient. But new analysis using a cutting-edge dating technique called U-series dating revealed its true age, at least 51,200 years old. Let that sink in. 51,200 years ago, before the last ice age reached its peak, before humans had spread across most of the planet, someone stood in this cave. They mixed pigment, they pressed it to the stone wall, and they told a story, a hunting scene, 3 humans, 1 animal. Narrative art. Not abstract, not accidental. A deliberate, composed, story-driven image created by a human mind over 51,000 years ago. This doesn't just push back the origins of art by 5,000 years. It forces us to ask a deeper question. What else were our ancestors capable of that we haven't found yet? Because if art this sophisticated existed 51,000 years ago, how much history have we not discovered? How much is still waiting? Under the jungle, beneath the sea, inside the mountains. for someone to come and find it. 7 discoveries. 7 moments where the past reached through the earth and changed the present. History isn't finished being written. If anything, 2024 proved it's barely begun. If you made it this far, you already know you're the kind of person who wants to understand what humanity really is and where it came from. Subscribe, because tomorrow we're going even deeper.